Hello, my pookies! I'm back with an English podcast, finally. So, that's a podcast that I guess some of my friends have been waiting for months, but I have a really good argument because I've created the Google Doc of this podcast. The 18th of November 2024, so it's been a while. So that means that I really worked and I really wanted to do it. So yeah, I don't know how to start this podcast because it's been a while, so I just maybe lose a little bit of my hand of my talents, but I will get it back, of course. It's always a bit bothered to talk about, is always a bit annoyed to talk about, and no one admits it. It's procrastination. I may be the boss at procrastinate, I don't know why, but I really love to procrastinate, but then I would just start to blame myself and to be really mad at myself at a point that I can start crying. Yeah, so I'm a little bit showing myself, but that's good, and that's okay because it's you. Or maybe have found ourselves endlessly scrolling on our phone while there is an important deadline loomed over us, and we will maybe see why do we do this, and even when we know that we will regret it soon or later. So first of all, a thing that I really try to repeat to myself is that procrastination isn't just laziness. It's often, not always, a complex emotional response to our emotions. And that I just wanted to highlight that procrastination is tied a lot, as I say, to emotional triggers. And it's just, it's not just a lack of discipline. I'm just going to do a little break because I don't know why, but when I speak in English, I always speak with my throat and a little bit with my chest. So I'm always a little bit breathless when I talk in English. And do you have any tips for it? Because I'm really breathless when I talk and it starts to hurt on my lungs. I don't know why, but yeah, whatever. So there is emotions behind this procrastination. First of all, there is a fear of failure. We all, maybe not all, but me, I always say to myself that if I don't start, I can't fail. So that's a thing that can be the trigger of this procrastination. There's also a need of perfection, but I don't know how to say it. Perfectionism, I think that's the word. That's I want this to be perfect, so I'll wait until I feel ready to make it perfectly and to not make any mistakes, and also to not have that. This perfectionism is getting along with the fear of failure, and there is a last point of why we procrastinate. It can also be a mental overwhelm or a mental just tiredness. I don't know if we can say fatigue in English. So yeah, sometimes we procrastinate simply because we are exhausted, and that's completely normal. And the common triggers can just be that there's tasks that are feeling boring and unmotivating to do. There's also a lack of clarity about what we can do next after doing the thing that we really have to do. And there's also, I think we all know it, in that the easy distractions, like the social media, TV. Not really TV, because no one really uses TV. But yeah, it can be that. And our brain is also has a role, I think. Our brain favors always short-term rewards, so the immediate pleasure, over the long-term goals. So as working or doing our homeworks, So that can explain the battle between the emotions and the long-term planning. And there's some consequences of this procrastination, so it can increase the stress, the guilt, and the low self-confidence feelings. So you're not alone. And however, procrastination can sometimes, and I think a lot for the students, signal a need to rest, for rest or to rest, both of them, and that a task doesn't align with our values. And to overcome this procrastination, to overcome all those feelings, because we are human, and I don't know if we pronounce it human, but I would say human. On est tous des humains, voilà. We all have feelings, and we all know, and how can I say? I mean, men have always found the solutions to all our issues. So why we cannot find a solution for this procrastination that is really eating our insights every day and every time that we really want to do something with our heart? So yeah, there's things to overcome this procrastination, and that's a really good thing, a really good advance in our history, I guess. So there's some practical techniques, and one of them is to shift our perspective on what we're doing. I always say we because I really want to include myself, so you don't feel alone in your issue, in your struggle. I mean, you can remind yourself why the task matters. If you do your homeworks, for example, you can have a good grades after all, and you can be proud of yourself for having good grades, because it's really hard to work these days. And I guess that's the only thing about shifting your perspective. And now that I'm thinking, you can also take breaks. Breaks between the small steps. Let's imagine you are on your bed with your phone, with your blanket, your really fluffy and warm blanket over you, and you have to work. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to start doing is removing the blanket of you, and that's a step. I mean, it's a tiny step, but it's a tiny thing that you can do to move forward something bigger. So working, okay? So you remove your blanket, you maybe sit up on your bed, you put off your phone, you attach your hair, I don't know why. If you don't have hair, I'm sorry. And you walk through your desk, and you sit up on your chair, you bring up your you bring up your laptop, and you open it, you put it on, and that's small steps that will get you to work or to do whatever you want to do. And going with the small steps, there's also the 5-minute rule. I found it in an article. I worked to make this podcast, so yeah, be proud of me. So you can commit to working on something for just 5 minutes. Often it helps you gaining a momentum time. I don't think we can say it like this, but yeah, you can say, oh, I just can I'm searching for an idea, but you can say, yeah, I can wash my face in 5 minutes, or make anything in 5 minutes, and go with the time. There's also the Pomodoro technique, and it's like you work for 25 minutes, then you take a 5-minute break or a 10-minute break, but usually it's a 5-minute break. And I don't know why, but when I know that I have only so when you know that you have 25 minutes, you're just going to realize that you can't do it on less than 25 minutes. You can do it on 10 minutes. I mean, and that's a really great technique. I really like it. I really like it. So then there's some little techniques, but it's more emotional management. Yeah. You can recognize and ask to yourself, what is causing this procrastination? What is the emotion? Maybe you're feeling sad, maybe you're angry, maybe you hate doing this, maybe there's something that is triggering another emotion that leads to another emotion. You can also practice deep breathing or mindfulness, like you sit up on your bed and say, hey, I am the boss in here. I have the control over what I really want to do. I have to work. I work. And that's all. I will never do it. I will never do it. That's for sure. Procrastination isn't laziness, really. And it's often rooted in our emotions and brain wiring. Procrastination is a habit, and like all the habits, we can remove it. It can be changed, and the first step is to start today and not tomorrow. If you want to tell me on the comments or on social medias what's the task that you've been putting off for days, you can tell me, and maybe we can do it together at the same time on a FaceTime. It's a joke, but we can do it. You can do it. You can tell me, I don't know, you can tell me whatever you want in the comments. So yeah, I'm feeling so happy to finally record this podcast. I'm really happy. Have a good day, rest of day, night, afternoon, evening, whatever you want. But take care of yourself, stop procrastinate, and maybe see you soon for another podcast. Peace.